And that's it. We made it to the semifinal. Finally, we're getting a matchup we haven't seen before, right? Two teams that are not familiar with each other, but two quarterbacks who are. Hey, listen, this is the best rivalry in the European League of Football. This is Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens type battle. Brandon Noble's going to have his hands full because how do you guard all those weapons on the Vienna Vikings? Hey, it's simple. These are two teams that clearly don't like each other. There's real hatred there, and that's what's going to make this game good. Is it the Surge's year, or is Munich a year too early and they're playing with house money? At the end of the day, we have a team from the north, Sweden, Denmark. We have a team from Austria, two teams from Germany. Who's going to the championship?
We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them.
I mean, my God, do we have two great games, four great teams heading into the European League of Football? I'm excited to talk about it. Athletes Forum Podcast. I'm your host, Jamal Clay. Thank you all for tuning in. All right. This is semifinals, quick picks and previews. All right. Who we have going into the championship game. All right. We have four teams. We got technically four different nations, right? Nordic, you count Sweden and Denmark. We got Austria and Germany, which find themselves back in familiar territory. But we got two great games, right? Two great games this weekend. I'm excited to talk about it and get you guys' thoughts. Locker room, you know how this works. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. All right. Now, the first game that we're gonna dive into is the Saturday game, and that's right. I am talking about the Nordic Storm against the Vienna Vikings. Two teams who are not familiar with each other. A matchup we have not seen this year in the European League of Football this season. And this is kind of fun because when we get to the championship game, we're going to get a matchup we haven't seen in the European League of Football, right? Because neither of these potential matchups have played each other this year. But I digress. The Nordic Storm, the new kids on the block, a team within their first year, mimicking what Madrid did in their first year, getting to the playoffs, but taking it a step further and, getting to the semifinals, led behind some veteran players that have been here before. You think about Jadrian Clark, Max Parkinson, right? You think about Jakob Christensen, right? You think about guys who have been here, although injured, Glenn Tunga, Xavier Edwards, right? Luke Glenn and Chad have not been here, but those are some experienced guys too, right? This is a team that is coming into this battle a little banged up, but we knew that going down the end of the season. But they still found a way. They still found a way, and they found a way last week versus the Fire to get a dub and played well in that game, right? I'd probably say between the two games previously against the Fire, that was the best game that they played, and it came at the right time. Needless to say, this is going to be a great matchup. Vienna Vikings on a bye week, right? Ben VP, right? Nominated for Offensive Player of the Year. Kudos to you, my friend, right? The Vienna Vikings, a team that is just shown this is not unfamiliar territory. They've been in the semifinals every year since joining the ELF. This is a team that has had the most success since joining the ELF that year too, part of the first expansion group. So the Vienna Vikings are used to this. Even in the Austrian league, they're used to the success. They're used to playing in these types of games, right? Winner goes to Stuttgart. Winner goes to the championship game. How is this going to play out? All right, Nordic. I see this a couple ways, right? Defensively, Brandon Noble's going to have his hands full because how do you guard all those weapons that Vienna has, right? Because they can get you in a run game, even though the run game's been slacking a little bit. They can get you in a run game, right? But in the pass game, Reese Horn. You think about Reese Horn, Noah Torre, Yannick Meyer, who could take it the distance at any moment in the game. Flair Beerbaumer, who's been one of the top tight ends since the league even started, since the Vikings got into the league, right? And you think about that offensive line, right? A veteran group, a talented group, a group that has about 3 or 4 guys on that offensive line that can be all ELF. And then you look at the defensive side. I think the way to attack Vienna is going to be really running at their linebackers. I think that's the best way you got to do it. I think you have to take some of that game plan that the Rhine Fire did when they went to Vienna and got the win. But ultimately, Nordic's going to have to find ways and they're going to have to establish the run. But I think what Shoop's going to want to do is going to try to manipulate the eyes. All right. But even the eyes of that back seven. But even when you think about that, you got Emily Laro, you got Divine Buckerham, Amani Dennis. Like, you got guys back there who could ball. So Vienna's going to be a tough out. Right. And then I look at it from the Vienna side. Man, you're playing with house money. This is the most successful team since being in the ELF. They've been to this stage plenty of times. Right. Ben VP is on a roll, right? And then defensively, these guys have just been balling all season. balling all season. So, long story short, I don't see a way that Nordic can stop Vienna enough times, right? Because Vienna could go score for score with Nordic. You're not going to outscore Vienna. So now it comes to, can Nordic get a stop? I don't know if they could get a stop. I don't know if they could get enough stops in this game, right? So for that reason, I'm gonna have to go with Vienna. I'm gonna have to go with the Vienna Vikings finding a way to get to the ELF championship game again, right? Again. And it's gonna put up an interesting matchup, right? For the winner of the next game, my favorite game, right? My favorite rivalry in the European League of Football, right? This is gonna be a bloodbath. This is gonna be a game between two teams that really, really don't like each other. But that's what makes this game beautiful, right? That's what brings back um all the bells and whistles of this game, right? The purity of this game, right? And I'm talking about the game that means the most, right? The Nordic Storm versus the Munich Ravens. You think about this from a coaching matchup, right? Jordan Newman going up against Kentra Ellison, who just got an extension, by the way, with Munich, right? Not just from a head coaching perspective, but from an offensive coordinator and defensive perspective. And then think about the other side. Kyle Callahan has been having one of his best seasons in calling an offense for Munich, right? And he's going up against not one but two defensive coordinators in Cody Passerino and Coach Johannes Brenner. So these two teams clearly know each other. They knew each other when they were in the same conference, right? They knew each other this year, right? So this is a game, right, that comes with a lot of baggage, right? The Nordic Storm. A lot of people didn't know what this Nordic Storm team was, right? I tried to tell you, right? Even though they're the most mysterious team, they're a team you don't sleep on. They're a team that when their back is against the wall, they're going to come play, right? And you think about what this team has been playing in all the big games that they have played in, like the Storm are going to be ready for this. No doubt about it. The Storm are going to be ready for this game, right? You know, Riley Hennessy, Big Cognac. Don't let him start dancing. If Big Cognac start dancing, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign for Munich, right? But then you think about their run game led by Kai Hunter, right? And Tommy Owewu. Tommy Owewu's had the more productive games against Munich out of all running backs this year in the ELF. You think about their pass game, Mike Harley Jr., who's on a mission. You can see it. Lewis Geyer, who's on a mission. You can see it, right? Riley Hennessy, right? The thing you could tell about Riley in his game this year, he's playing so much looser. He's not playing as tense. He's playing free. He's having fun. This could be Riley's last season. He's playing with house money, and you know that. Defensively, right? Defensively, this is going to be a great matchup because you're going up against a great offensive line, and the Surge have a great defensive line. You saw that last week. You saw that last week going up against the number one passing or the number one offense in the ELF, right? So how do they play this game? I think the Surge. We saw a lot of man last week. Raheem Wilson on Aaron Cruikshank. I think we get a lot. I think we get more zone this week from the Surge. This is why. If you focus on Markel Castle, you focus on Marvin Roots, right, or Okonkwo, right, you still gotta watch out for Justin Rodney, but Russell Tabor, right? And what I mean by Russell Tabor, I mean his legs, right? So I think what they're gonna want to do is, I think they're gonna do outside contain rushes up front. Try to keep Russ in the pocket. He's the most dangerous when he's outside the pocket and on the run. So they're gonna try to keep him in the pocket. Two, try to keep everything in front. Right. But three, if he tries to run, then they're going to rally. They're going to make sure all eyes are on Russell Tabor this game, and they're going to make Russell Tabor beat them this game. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how Munich handles that. On the other side of that, Munich offense, right? Does Kyle have can Kyle call one of his best game plans to get him and the Munich Ravens to the championship game? Right. Did the Munich Ravens learn from last year going to Paris, losing in round one, right? When they ran out of time. All right. Did they learn from that experience? Clearly they did something right where they got a step further and now they're in the semifinals, one game away from the championship game. But can they take the next step? Can this group take the next step? Russell Tabor, can you play a clean game? Russell Tabor It wasn't Tabor time early in the season like it was late in the season, right? Russell threw a lot of interceptions, a lot of turnovers, right? It was a lot of hit or miss. And then he developed into his game, developed into what he wanted to become, right? So can Russell play a clean game, right? Are they going to rely on Rodney? Who's going to show up on that offense outside of Malik Stanley, right? Marvin Roosh. Is this a Marvin Roosh type of game, right? And then you look on the defensive side. I mean, how are you going to protect home field, right? I love the matchup defensively. I like Munich's defense a lot in this game, right? I think they got the guys up front. I think they got the linebackers to not only stop the run, but athletic enough to get out in the pass game, right? The DBs of Munich are going to be the most pivotal part in this game, right? You can't let, because think about it like this. In that first game they played, right? And granted, Munich made a comeback, right? Still a close game, but the Surge controlled. It was what 17-3, 21-3 going into halftime before Munich made the comeback, right? And then in the second game they played, Munich kept that game way close. You could make a fair argument Munich should not have won that second game, but they did, so it's a moot point. But Munich, you can a close game. I don't think it's going to favor Munich. And I'm going to be honest, a close game is not going to favor Munich in this game because I think you're going to get that Surge team that's determined, right? That's on a mission. And granted, Munich is too, but this is not going to be a Surge team that may have slept or, walked into that second game, that second matchup when they played Munich, right? Think about this. When the Surge lost to Munich 3 years ago, Jordan Newman's first year, right? The big Chad Jeffries and Owebu game. When they lost that game stuck with the Surge going into next year. They played the Surge week one and embarrassed them. They embarrassed the Surge week one, right? Ended up sweeping, the Surge embarrassed Munich week one. Ended up sweeping Munich that season, I believe, right? And then, you think about the game earlier this year, Paris winning 6-0. 6-0. That's embarrassing, right? That's embarrassing. What did the Surge do? Gave Paris the run. Gave Paris the run the second game they played them. You think about Surge versus the Raiders, Jordan Newman's first year, where they won 6-3. Embarrassed them the second game, right? So what am I getting at? When the Surge have a down game, a letdown game, for whatever reason, they make it a point to let them know, like, listen, we're gonna try to embarrass you. And that's what they're gonna try to do to Munich. I don't think Munich's gonna have it. I think Munich's gonna be ready. Munich may be a year early, but this could be Munich's year. And this game is so hard to pick, and I've been back and forth. But I'm gonna rock with the flock. Munich Ravens to go to Stuttgart, unfortunately, and play the Vienna Vikings in the ELF championship game. All right. Locker room, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. You know how this rolls. Those are my picks. I got the Ravens. I got the Vikings in the ELF championship game for what's been a out of control type of year. But we're here, and it's going to be interesting to see how everything pans out going forward.